It was past midnight, and the quiet street was asleep. Alex Carter sat in his small living room, sipping coffee and reading an old book. He liked nights like this, calm and silent, with only the faint ticking of the wall clock. But tonight, something felt different. The air seemed heavier, as if the night was holding its breath. A sudden flicker of blue light spilled through the curtains. Alex frowned, setting his coffee down. He hadn't left the TV on, and the streetlights outside were a dull yellow, not this strange cold blue. He stood up slowly, moving toward the window. The light flickered again, brighter this time, followed by a soft crack like glass breaking under pressure. His instincts kicked in. Years of military service had made him sharp and cautious. Without making a sound, he reached for the heavy wrench lying on his workbench. The sound came again, closer now. Just by the back door, Alex's pulse quickened. But his steps remained steady. He approached the kitchen, every sense alert. The faint smell of ozone filled the air, strange and metallic. It was a smell he remembered from battlefields where energy weapons had fired. He gripped the wrench tighter, ready for trouble. Then he saw it. A slim shadow moved near the back door. The shape was wrong, too tall and too thin to be a normal person. Light shimmered against something metallic in her hands. She was crouched, working on the security panel like she'd done it 100 times before. Alex could barely see her face under the hood, but her hair silver white glimmered. Faintly in the dark, he took a step closer, the floor creaking slightly under his weight. The figure froze, her head snapping toward him. Her hood slipped back just enough for him to see her eyes, bright violet, glowing faintly, not human. His mind whispered instantly. Her skin was pale, almost luminescent, and tiny lines of light ran like veins across her temples. Before Alex could speak, she raised a small device toward him. It wasn't a gun, at least, not one he recognized. Her voice came fast and urgent, carrying a strange accent. "If they find me here, we both die," she said, her tone more desperate than threatening. Alex's grip on the wrench stayed firm. He didn't trust her, but he could see the fear in her eyes wasn't fake. Behind her, through the cracked glass of the back door, the blue light pulsed again. It wasn't coming from her, it was coming from the street, and it was getting closer. "What's going on?" Alex demanded, his voice low. The girl's eyes darted back toward the door. "No time," she whispered, stepping inside and slamming the lock shut. Alex could hear a faint humming now, like machinery hovering in the air. It wasn't from any vehicle he knew. She backed away from the door, still clutching her device. Alex noticed it was cracked, sparking faintly at the edges. Her hands trembled, not from weakness, but from urgency. "They are tracking me," she said. "If they find me here, they will kill you too." Alex took a step closer, wrench still ready. "Who are they?" he asked. Her violet eyes met his. "My people," she said quietly, "and they are not merciful." Outside, the humming grew louder and the blue light spread across the walls. Alex's military instincts screamed at him, whatever was out. There was scanning the house. The girl suddenly moved to the middle of the kitchen, placing her device on the floor. A faint shimmer spread around them like a bubble. The light outside dimmed slightly, as if it had lost their trail. Alex stared, still gripping the wrench. "What did you just do?" "I bought us a few minutes," she replied. "That's all we have." Her voice cracked slightly, and Alex noticed for the first time how young she looked, maybe barely older than 20 in human years. The humming outside shifted, moving to the front of the house. Alex realized they were surrounded. The girl looked at him, her expression a mix of fear and determination. "My name is Lyra," she said, "and you have to decide right now, help me or hand me over." Alex didn't answer immediately. His mind raced. This was insane. None of it made sense. But something in her eyes told him she wasn't lying. If he handed her over, it wouldn't just be her life on the line. And deep down, Alex had never been the kind of man to watch someone get hunted down without a fight. The blue light outside flashed brighter, and the walls trembled slightly. Lyra's voice was urgent now. "They're here," she said. "What's your choice, human? Alex tightened his grip on the wrench. His answer was simple. "Stay behind me," he said. And in that moment, the quiet night shattered into chaos. Asterisk. The humming outside was fading for now. But Alex knew it was only a matter of time before it. Returned, Lyra stood in the middle of his kitchen, her silver hair catching the dim light, her violet eyes scanning every corner like she expected danger to crawl through the walls. Alex kept his wrench in hand, not lowering his guard. "You better start explaining," he said, his voice calm but firm. Lyra hesitated, glancing at the window before speaking. "My people sent hunters to find me," she said. "They won't stop until I'm captured or dead." She moved to the table, her steps light, almost silent. Alex noticed the strange way she carried herself, like someone trained to move without being heard. "You broke into my home," Alex said. "Why?" "Here." "Why me?" Lyra's lips tightened. "Because you live far from the others," she replied. "Your house was the only one with old locks, not connected to the city's network, harder to track." Alex raised an eyebrow. "So you've been watching me?" She didn't answer, only looked away as if the question was too dangerous to respond to. From the corner of his eye, Alex saw her device still lying on the floor, faintly pulsing with a soft red glow. "It's damaged," she said, noticing his glance. "That's why they found me so fast." Alex crouched beside it, his engineer's mind already studying the cracks and burns along its edges. "It's some kind of cloaking field generator, isn't it?" he asked. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. "You know about that?" "I know enough," Alex replied, running a finger along the damaged coil. "I worked on shielding tech during the war." Lyra tilted her head, a hint of curiosity breaking through her fear. "Then maybe you can fix it," she said. "If you do, we might survive the night." Before Alex could answer, a faint tapping sound came from the roof. Lyra froze, her eyes going wide. "That's not wind," she whispered. Alex didn't need her to tell him, his gut already knew. Something was moving up there, slowly, carefully, like it was searching. Without warning, a thin beam of blue light pierced through the kitchen ceiling, sweeping across the room. Lyra grabbed Alex's arm and pulled him toward the hallway. "They're scanning for life signs," she said. "Stay close to me." Her device flickered, struggling to keep the shimmer around them stable. They slipped into the living room, the shadows deep enough to hide them for the moment. Alex's mind raced. He'd fought enemies before, but never ones with tech like this. Lyra crouched low, speaking in a quick, hushed tone. "If they catch us, they will take the crystal, and then they will burn this planet." Alex stared at her. "What? Crystal?" Lyra shook her head. "No time for that," she said. "First, we get away from here." The humming was back now, stronger, and the tapping on the roof grew louder. Alex felt his jaw tighten. If he was going to help this alien girl, it meant war was coming to his doorstep, and for reasons he didn't fully understand, he was ready to fight it. The humming in the air grew sharper, no longer distant. Alex could feel it in his bones, like the sound was crawling under his skin. Lyra's eyes flicked to the window, her pupils narrowing as the street outside glowed faint blue. A shadow passed over the glass, smooth and mechanical. Alex's breath slowed. Whatever it was scanning for them. The front of the house was bathed in a soft, unnatural light. Through the narrow gap in the curtain, Alex saw them, 3 sleek alien drones, black as midnight, each with a glowing core pulsing like a heartbeat. They hovered in a perfect formation, moving with a silent precision no human machine could match. Thin beams of light stretched from their undersides, sweeping across the walls and roof. When the beams touched the ground, the grass sizzled, leaving black marks. Lyra crouched low, pulling Alex down beside her. "They can't see us yet," she whispered, "but the device is weakening." Alex glanced at the cloaking generator, still faintly pulsing red on the floor. "How long until it fails?" he asked. Her voice was tense. "Less than 3 minutes." The drones shifted closer, their cores glowing brighter. One of them tilted slightly, like it had caught a trace of movement. Alex felt every muscle in his body tense. He wasn't afraid. For himself, he was afraid of what would happen to the whole block if these things decided to attack. Lyra's hand brushed his arm, her touch cold but steady. "If they spot us, don't try to fight them here," she said. "We can't win." In open ground, but Alex had already started planning. The basement, his workshop, was shielded by layers of reinforced steel. If they could get down there, he might have enough time to patch the device. He signaled for her to follow, moving slowly toward the hallway. The floor creaked faintly under his boot. Instantly, one of the drones swung its beam toward the window. The blue light swept through the curtains, spilling across the living room. Alex and Lyra dropped flat against the floor, holding their breath. The beam lingered for a few seconds, scanning, then it moved on, but not far. From outside came a sharp metallic click, followed by a low, rising hum. Lyra's eyes went wide. "They're charging weapons," she whispered. Alex's jaw tightened. No more waiting. If they wanted to survive, they had to move now. He grabbed the cloaking device, tucking it under his arm. Lyra followed as he darted into the hallway. The hum outside grew louder, vibrating through the walls. As they reached the basement door, the first blast hit. A beam of blue energy punched through the side of the house, leaving molten wood and smoke. Alex shoved Lyra ahead of him, slamming the basement door shut. The stairs groaned as they ran down into the shadows. Above them, the sound of tearing metal and burning wood filled the air. Lyra's voice trembled, but her words were clear. "They know we're here now." The basement shook as another blast tore through the upper floor. Dust rained from the ceiling, coating Alex's workbench in a thin gray layer. Lyra's breathing was sharp but controlled, her eyes locked on the staircase above. "They won't stop," she said. "They'll burn through every wall until there's nothing left." Alex dropped the cloaking device onto the bench. Its red pulse was faint now, almost dead. "I'll hold them off," he said. "You get this thing working again." Lyra's head snapped toward him, her voice low but urgent. "You can't face them without cover. One direct hit and you're gone." Alex's hand moved to a heavy steel case under the bench. He flipped it open to reveal an old plasma rifle from his military days. It was scratched, worn, but still deadly. "This isn't my first time under fire," he said. Loading a power cell, Lyra hesitated, then reached for her own weapon, a thin, curved rod that expanded into a glowing spear with a flick of her wrist. The sound above changed. Heavy metallic footsteps replaced the humming. The drones had shifted tactics. They were coming inside. Alex motioned for Lyra to stay low as he crept toward the bottom of the stairs. The first drone appeared in the doorway, its glowing core casting long, cold shadows down the steps. Alex didn't wait. He fired a single plasma shot, hitting the drone's sensor array. The machine staggered back, sparks spraying from its side. Lyra leapt forward, spinning her spear and driving it through the drone's armor in one swift strike. The core flared bright, then went dark, the machine collapsing in a heap. But there was no time to celebrate. Two more drones pushed in through the hole in the wall, their weapons charging with a rising whine. Alex ducked behind a pillar as the first blast tore into the workbench. Sparks and shards of metal flew across the room. Lyra darted to the side, her shield flickering to life around her. Energy bolts struck it, lighting the basement in flashes of blue and gold. Alex took aim, firing in short bursts. One shot grazed a drone's core, making it wobble. Lyra seized the moment, her spear slicing clean through its support strut. It toppled to the floor with a metallic scream. The last drone whirled toward her, its weapon charging for a point-blank shot. Alex moved without thinking. He slammed into the drone's side, knocking its aim off just as it fired. The blast hit the concrete wall, leaving a smoking crater. Lyra drove her spear deep into its core, twisting until the light died. The basement fell silent, except for the hiss of cooling metal. Alex leaned against the wall, his chest heaving. Lyra looked at him for a long moment, her voice soft but steady. "You fight like someone who's lost everything before." Alex didn't answer. He just walked back to the workbench, brushing dust off the broken cloaking device. "We need to fix this," he said, "because they'll send more." The basement was quiet now, but it wasn't peace. It was the heavy kind of silence that comes after a battle, when you know the next one is already on its way. Lyra sat at the workbench, her fingers moving quickly over the cracked cloaking device. Alex watched her from across the room, his plasma rifle resting against his leg. "You're not telling me everything," he said, his voice steady. Lyra didn't look up. "If I tell you, you'll wish I hadn't," she replied. Alex stepped closer, his shadow falling over her. "I've already had my home shot at, my walls blown open, and my life put on a clock," he said. "I can handle the truth." Her hands paused. Slowly, she lifted her eyes to meet his. "They are not just chasing me," she said. "They are chasing what I stole." From her jacket, she pulled a small black case, no bigger than Alex's palm. With a press of her thumb, it opened, revealing a glowing crystal that pulsed like a slow heartbeat. The light from it painted the basement in shifting shades of blue and silver. Alex stared at it, feeling the hum of its power in his chest. "What is it?" he asked. Lyra's voice dropped to a near whisper. "This is a power core from a worship of my people." Alex's eyes narrowed. "And why is it here, instead of in your worship?" "Because," she said, "if they have it, they will finish building the fleet that can destroy your planet in one day." The words hung in the air, cold and heavy. Alex's grip tightened on the edge of the workbench. "You're telling me this isn't just about you?" Lyra shook her head. "This is about Earth, and every human on it," she said. "If they get this back, your world will burn." For a long moment, Alex didn't move. He had fought to protect people before, but never the entire planet. Now, the quiet life he had built felt like a distant memory. He looked at Lyra, her pale skin glowing faintly in the crystal's light. "You risked everything to steal it," he said. Lyra nodded once. "And I will die before I give it back." The device in her hands beeped weakly, a warning tone. She glanced at it, her voice tight. "I can fix the cloak for a short time, but we can't stay here." Alex's mind was already racing ahead. If they had to run, they'd need a plan and weapons. The faint hum outside returned, distant but growing. Lyra closed the case around the crystal and looked at Alex. "They will come again," she said. "And next time, they won't send drones. They'll come themselves." Alex picked up his rifle, the old fire in his eyes returning. "Then we make sure they regret it," he said. Asterisk. The basement lights flickered as the hum outside grew stronger. Alex knew they had little time before the hunters surrounded the house again. Lyra tightened the straps on her jacket, the small case with the crystal secured against her side. Her eyes darted to the damaged cloaking device, still on the workbench. "I can fix it for maybe 30 minutes, she said. "After that, they'll find us again no matter where we go." Alex paced, thinking fast. 30 minutes isn't enough to hide, he said. "We have to make them lose our trail completely." Lyra tilted her head, her silver hair catching the dim light. "And how do you plan to do that?" Alex's voice was calm, but there was steel in it. "We take one of their ships." Lyra blinked, surprised. "You want to steal a hunter craft?" Alex nodded. "They're scanning for you from above. They have to land at some point." He said, "When they do, we hit hard fast and take control before they know what's happening." Lyra's gaze hardened. "That's suicide," she said. "It's survival," Alex replied. Loading fresh power cells into his rifle, he opened a heavy metal locker, pulling out gear from his old service days, body armor, smoke charges, and a compact EMP grenade. Lyra stepped closer, her voice quieter now. "If we do this, we can't fail if they capture us. They'll take the crystal and—" "Worse." Alex didn't flinch. "Then we don't get captured," he said, handing her a spare smoke charge. Lyra studied him for a moment, then gave a small, sharp nod. "I've mapped their patrol routes," she said, tapping a small device. On her wrist, a holographic display lit up between them, showing glowing dots moving over the street outside. "One of the ships will land here," she said, pointing to an alley 2 blocks away. "They use it as a relay point. It's the closest we'll get without drawing fire." Alex checked his watch. "How long until it lands?" Lyra's voice was steady. 15 minutes. They both knew it wasn't much. Alex slung his rifle over his shoulder and checked the EMP charge. "This will fry their sensors for 20 seconds, he said. "That's all the time we'll have to get inside." Lyra's spear extended with a soft hum, the light running along its edge. "They won't expect a human to fight like this," she said, almost smiling. Alex smirked back. "Then let's make it a surprise." The hum outside shifted again. Deeper now, the hunters were moving into position. Alex and Lyra shared one last glance. In that moment, they weren't just a human and an alien on the run. They were soldiers about to start a war. The night air was cold and still as Alex and Lyra moved through the shadows. The hum of the hunter ship grew louder with each step, a low, steady vibration that made the street lamps flicker. They stopped at the mouth of the alley, peering around. The corner, there it was, a sleek black vessel, its surface shifting like liquid metal, the glowing core at its center pulsing in rhythm with the hum. 2 hunters stood guard, tall and armored, their faces hidden behind smooth helmets with a single glowing strip for eyes. They carried long, curved weapons that shimmered faintly in the dark. Lyra's breath was slow and controlled. "This is our only chance," she whispered. Alex pulled the EMP grenade from his vest, his fingers steady despite the pounding in his chest. He looked at Lyra. "Once it pops, we move fast, no hesitation." She gave a sharp nod, her spear flickering to life. Alex pressed the trigger, rolling the grenade across the cracked pavement. It stopped between the hunters, and with a deep metallic thump, a wave of blue light rippled out. The hunters froze, their weapons flickering, the ship's lights dimming for just a moment. "That's our window," Alex said, charging forward. Lyra was right behind him, moving with inhuman speed. Alex slammed into the first hunter, knocking its weapon away. Lyra's spear sliced through the second's armor, sending it crashing to the ground. They didn't stop. Alex sprinted up the ship's ramp, the metal surface smooth and unnervingly warm inside. The control room glowed with alien symbols and shifting panels. Lyra jumped into the pilot's seat, her hands flying over the controls. The hum of the engines roared back to life. Outside, the hunters were recovering, their weapons powering up. Again, a beam of energy shot past the ramp, barely missing Alex. He returned fire, forcing them back. "Go, Lyra!" he shouted. The ship lifted with a sudden jolt, the alley below shrinking away. Through the open ramp, Alex saw the hunters aiming again, but a blast from the ship's underside sent them diving for cover. The ramp sealed shut, cutting off the night air. Lyra looked at him, her eyes bright. "We did it," she said, almost breathless. But Alex didn't relax. "Where are we going?" Lyra's fingers danced over the controls. "To a place they can't follow," she said. "At least not yet." The stars spread out before them as the ship broke through the clouds. For a moment, Alex let himself believe they were safe then. An alarm blared through the cockpit. Lyra's expression hardened. "They've marked the ship. Reinforcements will be right behind us." Alex smirked, gripping his rifle. "Then I guess this is just the start." Lyra glanced at him, a faint smile touching her lips. "You really are dangerous for a human." He grinned back. "And you broke into the wrong house." The ship shot into the darkness of space, the earth falling away below them. Somewhere far behind, the hunters gave chase. But Alex and Lyra were no longer just running. They were ready to fight.